Can you believe it? We are literally creeping into December. In fact, when this podcast comes out, it will probably be December. So if you're sat there right now staring at your empty inbox and like something is going to magically fill it up, I just know it. I'm manifesting it. I'm diarising it. This episode is your wake up call because January isn't your fresh start unless you've actually done the bloody groundwork. So guess what? Most photographers won't, which is why we're going to do this in December. So we're ready for January. Welcome to The Loud Lens. I'm Khandie and we don't hold back here. So we're going to go straight into 2026 before we've even thought about whether we're going to stuff the turkey or forgo it all and just disappear under a Bailey's chocolate cloud. Right. December is famously quiet, is it not? People are skint. Let's be brutal. They are very, very Brexit right now. And given that the budget will have just come out, we're all going, ugh, thanks government for that. Mostly they're probably wrapping presents, frantically running around trying to book Santa photo shoots, but not much else. So what happens when photographers get it wrong and they're not prepping ready for the new year, okay? Well, they kind of treat December, how can I say this? Bit like a funeral. They don't bother about marketing, they don't do any planning for it, they do no content, they don't look at their systems, they don't prep for the new year. No real momentum. They kind of sit there and go, my inbox is empty. What do I do? Pray tell, Khandie, what do I do? And while I would say sit back and watch all my YouTube videos because I have one, or say, darlings, let's listen to the entire back catalogue because there's a lot of episodes now on the Loud Lens, they're not. And then when January runs around, they're like going crazy, like some hungover troll and whinging that business is slow. And I'll be brutally honest, I know that's going to happen in the Facebook groups. I keep hitting on the Facebook groups, but that's where people go to whine. And it's true. We can all have a whine, but sometimes I think we're whining because we don't know how to run a business. December isn't dead, okay? December is the reset button that the universe hands you with a bow on. It does. This is your chance to rebuild. And if you don't, you'll be chasing your tail until April, which is ironically when the tax year for the UK hits. So let's talk about the absolute myth that you can't market or sell in December. Most people are telling you to get your minis done. Now, I said to you, you should have your minis ready, booked in and done. Maybe in the first couple of weeks of December, you're still churning them out. But please remember, minis are about upselling. So you need to look at when your print deadlines are, because the last thing you need is somebody going into you and saying, hey, is it possible that I could have a session? And you're like, I can't even get you prints. No, okay? But who made that rule? Who said you aren't allowed to talk about your services just because someone's putting a turkey in the oven? Who has turkey? Do people still have turkey at Christmas? We don't at our house because I can't stand it. I tend to just have, well, I make a lot of food actually at Christmas because at my house there's like 3 Christmases, 23rd, 24th and 25th. Yeah, don't ask, it's just friends coming round. But yeah, it gets busy in my house. There is an ethical debate to this though. Is it pushy to market in December when you know people are broke? Should we ease off on marketing because it's Christmas and people are being inundated? And is it wrong to prep or sell when other photographers are taking time off? I mean, can I just say that last F off, get lost. Oh no, I'm a photographer taking time off. I should do this. Like, I'm like, why are we worried? But someone did say this in a group and I'm taking it. I want to say disregard that last one because if you are literally looking at what other photographers doing, that's part of your problem right there. Personally, I don't give a F what they're doing. I run my business. I'm responsible for making sure it pays. I don't care what you're doing, Boo. You could spend the whole of December going on your yoga retreat, scratching your bum hole, wishing you were Santa, whatever you're going to do. No, I'm going to be working and making sure I have a thing because I'm a business. So I'm going to act like one. And that's what I'm going to say to you. You created this business. If you wanted it to not be a business, you should have stayed a hobby and not charged people. But you made a business, so let's start acting like one. Now, marketing isn't shouting buy, buy, buy. And I've told you this many, many times on this podcast. If you haven't thought about it, now is a great time to subscribe because some of this I'm repeating, okay? Marketing is about visibility, value, positioning, and consistency. So if Tesco's can advertise in December, so can you. I mean, it depends on what your bar, if you what your tax bracket is. Maybe you're a bougie and you go to John Lewis. Do you buy food at John Lewis or is it Waitrose? I never understand. Anyway, obviously I'm not there. I don't care whether you've got, wherever you are, you can use marketing as much as you want. You're allowed to advertise in December. If anything, it's more ethical to set yourself up well than to panic discount in January because you failed to plan. There's nothing that irks me more as a consumer or as a business owner to see people trying to get me to buy stuff in January that they're then just going to discount. Sorry, but get stuff to buy in December that they're just going to discount in January. And I'm like, I'll just wait till January. And then you wonder why no one pays because they know you're going to do it. So I'm like, nah, just get it set up now. So let's get into what happens when photographers don't do December properly, okay? So let's talk about. I try to give these like examples like bougie names, but I got lazy, okay? So we're gonna call it the New Year Scrambler. Starting everything in January, new prices, rebrand, website updates, portfolio organisation, studio cleanup. By the time they finish, it's February and they've missed all the early inquiries because they looked a little chaotic. Why can't you start doing that now? Also, why do you need to update all this stuff straight away? Like, if you're doing a rebrand, you should have already started planning that straight away. If your website update goes hand in hand, your new prices should have already done by now because you should have been getting inquiries for the new year. I'm like, You also get the vanishing act, the ghoster. Talks back to my dating days. Goes offline completely in December. Their audience forgets they exist, and then they come back in January and wonder why their engagement's dead. Algorithms treat them like a stranger, and then they whine, "Oh, nobody's liking my post." Well, you disappeared, my love. You didn't even bother scheduling, and that's free on Meta business page. You're now whining. Now we all have to pretend we have sympathy for you while the rest of us were slogging it out. Seriously. So they spend January yelling at everybody like, "Nobody loves me. I've got no friends." I'm being such a horrible person. Don't care. By the way, if you think my throat is hoarse, it's because I'm actually recording this straight after the BIPP event, which was in Holborn Studios, where I cheered so loud I lost my voice. I also had a load of Bombay butty sandwiches, thanks to Paul. Yeah, not euphemism, just literally this weird concoction of sandwiches. Highly recommend it though. A lot of garlic keeps everyone away from you. Okay, and the last one I would probably say is the last minute discounter in that time frame. They panic before because they've not prepped anything. They drop prices because it's their only strategy they've done, and they only attract bargain hunters and spend most of the year trying to escape that reputation. I have a big problem with bargain hunting. Okay, I love it for me. Don't do it for my business. You know those people who, and this is just a side note, you know those people who say they go on for Instagram, typically mostly on Instagram, going, if you like and share to win this free shoot with me. People who like you will have already been liking you. The only reason people are going to like you now is because you're giving them something for free. Those people are not who you need to market to. They're only interested because they're getting something for free. Honestly, there was an experiment done by a social media analyst who put up a free lettuce and people went mad for it, for a lettuce, which you could literally buy for 59p, but people wanted it. And then he put up he gave away a biro and it was the same thing. You can't get people to buy what they've originally had for free, and people just don't care. They want stuff for free. So let's not do that. Anyway, back to this, because this is why you're on this podcast. At least I hope that's why. So let's compare it to someone who has prepared. The people who use December properly. Now, I'm hoping we're still doing our shoots, but when Christmas Minis dies down, there's not a lot left for us to do if we're running a studio. And this is about studio photographers. There aren't many people want to book in family sessions after that. There aren't many people. One, you can't get prints done unless you find a local source for that, which is great if you can. It's always good for a backup. But most part, you might get a few businesses, but I'm going to use this time effectively for me. So in my December, I pre-record content. I do a lot on my YouTube, a lot on this podcast. I schedule a lot of posts. I update my branding. I create an offer for January that is not a massive discount, but more added value. So I don't do so many discounts, like 50% off or anything like that. I tend to go a free print or a complimentary blah, blah, blah. I tend to add something to my package rather than reduce the money because I know that money's going to be tight and I want to make sure that I'm not doing it's such a disservice if you discount. People recognize that discount and then you're trying to get people to pay full price. It kind of, well, you obviously then have overcharged because you could discount before. That's how the logic's I'm starting to see. I also look at any new target clients. So I'm definitely doing some research into who I want to work with. Maybe there's something I'm building up that I want to do. I look at my workflows. I'm constantly reviewing every financial quarter. I have it that I review workflows. Is it cost effective for me? Is this working? Where am I having some sticking points with bookings? I look at my workflow and I clean up my client journey. And I've done an episode on this already, the client experience, the client journey. So I highly recommend you go listen to that. But we need to look at that. And I think it's a great time in the new year. It's a bit quieter, so you can spend a little bit more time looking at it. I also network. I'm not talking about cult networking, which is actually a podcast I'm about to record after this one, controversially. But I network properly. I chinwag with people. I try and arrange a few meetups with clients. I meet people coffee. I do a lot more in that time, physical meetups, because I feel like everyone just needs a break from it. One year I even ran, and I highly recommend if you've got time to do it. I can't do it this year, but I did the freelancers office party, which was pretty much around the print cut-off time for photographers. And I had about 40 people show up for that, and that was pretty cool. Um, I actually called it the freelancers summer party as a joke because we do it in December because we spend all our time running around doing stuff in the summer that we don't ever get a summer party. So I put the summer party in December and the Christmas party in the summer to take the piss. But there you go. I also plan my marketing calendar. Now it's still fluid, but my marketing calendar is really important for me, so I know what I'm doing in January, what I'm doing each month, and I have done a whole episode on how to market your whole year. Just some ideas for you previously in another episode, so go check that out. But I want to look at, Easter's change dates, Mother's Day changes dates. Maybe I know there's a big event coming up. Maybe one of my friends, when she was doing content creation, she's a content creator photographer. She made sure that when Eurovision was up in the city, that she planned that and started marketing it. Look at events that are happening in your area that might boost it. Maybe there's a major sporting event. Maybe there's a big conference happening. Have a look and then put it into your calendar to target those people. What it is, you want to hit January swinging while everyone else is fumbling around on Canva looking pretty miserable. But this is something you need to do. It's actionable. So here's some things that are actual you can do, okay? I want you to fix your profile. I want you to fix your portfolio. No more art day later. Pick 20 to 30 images that represent exactly what you want to do more of. And just delete everything else for now. Like, what's it matter? It's on your portfolio. No one cares. Just delete it. And then I really want you to relook at your website copy. Do not just have some waffly BS. No one needs to know. Like if I wrote Northampton, North Hampshire studio, location, photographer, portrait, wedding, and I love what I do, kind of bollocks, right? Keep it clear what you do, who you do it for, why you're better than everyone else, and why now. Like that's how I do it, right? And also create a proper pricing guide, not some random PDF you threw together in Canva in 2018. Like put it together and have it up. Now, I am one of those people that says put it on your website because one, I want to cut down on my admin time. I don't want someone coming to me saying, I've got 40 quid, can you do my whole wedding? I have my prices up there to cut down that whole thing. Like, I don't have people trying to reach out and ask my prices. So then I then have to send the brochure. Then I do a back and forth and chasing them. I'm like, just have it. I mean, that's how I personally do it. It's up to you if you do that, but I just want to cut down on my admin time. I know some people it works for and some people it doesn't, but for me, it does. Also, create your January offer. I'm against discounts. More look at it as an incentive. Maybe there's a winter portrait bundle you could do, or a back to work rebrand, refresh, whatever. Retainer packages, studio open days, mini content days. Give people a reason to book early. Okay, give them a reason. And then also pre-record your social content for January. No more, I don't have time, because right, we have all the time in the world. Try and put together a couple of pieces. I mean, I always say aim for 20. I probably do about 10. Job done, job's a fish. It's say it's done. Does anyone say job's a fish, or is that just something I've picked up somewhere along the way? Does anyone say job's a fish? I don't know why I say that actually. But anyway, job's a fish. Or in Norwegian, a gladlags, a happy salmon. My Norwegian's terrible. Don't come for me. So for me, I batch my content. I know that's such a cliche. I batch my content. Here's an example of how I batch, right? I create a YouTube video because I found an idea that I like. It'll be, oh, here's a photo shoot. Here's how I do cinematic lighting, or here's how I use this one modifier to do loads of stuff, right? So I put that video is destined to go on YouTube. If possible, I can try and that specific one won't work well on podcast, but I could put the video up if I wanted to, and use the audio if it was a bit more audio based. Obviously, with using a modifier, it's a little bit more physical to look at. But what I could then do is chuck it into, if I want, what's that thing called that some people use? Opus clips, and get it to clip it down into multiple different short clips that will look great on Reels or Shorts on YouTube and Instagram. So already there, I've taken one piece of content and created a few other pieces out of it. Then the photos from it can be used on my Instagram and on my story. I can use those photos then to do a LinkedIn post. I can use the whole video as an educational piece for LinkedIn. I can put it on my Facebook page, show people this is something I did. You see how one piece of content can now be repurposed and reused. Essentially, job done. I also think you should clean up your systems, look at your email templates, maybe your client management automations, contracts, because as the new laws come in, check you're still current with those. Like I said, clean up your workflow and backup strategy. Because honestly, if it looks like hell to do and it's not easy, you need to fix it. There are so many ways to fix it. Also, and this is dirty, I'm going to talk about finances. Something about the UK, we don't like talking about finances, do we? We hate it. I don't know why, but you need to know what you need to earn. Remember, January prices go up. The budget will have been released from the old guys at number 10 Downing Street. So you need to really think about what you need to make, not what you hope to earn, but what you actually need to make, because that will help you have some incentive to try and earn that money. Okay. Also, like I said, review your client experience. Where are people getting confused? Where do you think you're losing leads? Where can you simplify it? I'm lucky, as I've said many times, I use Studio Ninja so I can track leads, I can see where they're coming from, but sometimes I get a sticky point. One of them was ages ago was that a lot of my emails were going to people's junk mail if they were in a certain place, and it was because I needed to update my security certificate. So I sorted that out, done, sorted, not a problem. But had I not had the software, I wouldn't have noticed. So, think about those little things. That was ages ago, actually, but it still haunted me. Plan your marketing calendar. Let's not have a January panic. At least have 3 months of content topics ready to go. I like to do my marketing planner overall loosely for the whole 12 months, but every quarter I plan ahead. Okay. So I'll do this month's quarter. Sorry, I'll do the next quarter coming this month, and then 2 months later I'll do the next quarter. So I've got the whole thing roughly planned out, but I'm doing a more in-depth on every financial quarter because I need to look at it. All right. Also, think about reaching out to new clients. Oh, sorry, even old clients, not new, old clients. I can't help but think this wins every time. It's one of my biggest things I'm doing. And it's just like, I'm just checking in, wishing you an amazing Christmas. I have some limited dates in January if you'd like to update anything early this year, because I know you had your headshots this time last year, things like that, because I'm reaching out to them. It's human, it's effective. And like I've told you many times, connecting with a client you've already got dealings with is so much easier to sell to than someone who's never dealt with you. Okay. Cold clients are not the greatest to try and reach out to. Someone you've had a deal with are easier to sell to. Okay. Now, photographers, listen, January isn't a graveyard of business unless you decide it is. And if you've been struggling this year, this is your chance to stop repeating the same patterns. I could go on about, the definition of madness is, or insanity, whatever it is that you keep repeating, hoping for a different outcome. But you can't wing your way into a successful January. You have to build your way into it. Everyone else is slowing down. Good. That means you get a head start. Use it, step up, tighten your systems, sort your shit out, and become visible. Make a plan. Don't limp into January. Launch yourself into it like an unhinged creative powerhouse you say you are, because you gotta be, right? All right, my loves, if this episode has slapped you in the chops a bit good, share it with a photographer who's already moaned that January's always quiet. Tell me on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you find me how you're doing. Just let me know you're all right. I go live on those quite a bit, so we can have a chin wag. Tell me how you're feeling. And it's okay to say, I'm absolutely worried, Khandie. I'm trying to do this podcast to help out. So if you have any questions you want me to answer on a podcast, anonymously or otherwise, drop me a message and maybe I'll turn it into an episode to help you. I'm trying to be that photographer, educator, mentor, whatever it is, that actually listens to you guys and doesn't just try and say a load of tosh. So let's get January in order by getting ready in December, because this will change the directory of our whole year, okay? All right? Right, I'll see you soon. I'm going to go take a shot of Lemsip to try and sort this throat out. Is that what you have for a sore throat? Maybe I should just get the whiskey. All right, take care. This has been The Loud Lens. I've been Khandie. Oh, by the way, buy my book. It's a great Christmas present. It's on Amazon. 2 of them. I've got 2 books. I'm lying. I've got 2 books. I've got 2 books. You say books, but they're short and easy reads. They're great stocking fillers. I'm just saying. Okay, take care. Bye.